Welcome to Creepytalks, where hidden fears come alive through chilling horror tales. Dare to listen as every story pulls you deeper into the darkness. Story 1. The Order That Shouldn't Exist. Some addresses are not mistakes. They are invitations. And the night I accepted that pizza order, something accepted me back. I've delivered pizzas for almost 3 years. Rain, snow, drunk customers, creepy neighborhoods. I thought I had seen everything. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for that one delivery. The delivery that still makes my hands shake when I smell melted cheese late at night. This story is not easy for me to tell, because what happened wasn't just scary, it felt wrong. Like I had stepped into a place where I was never supposed to exist. It was a Friday night, just 5 minutes before midnight. The pizza store was loud, phones ringing, ovens beeping, coworkers laughing, the usual chaos. I was tired, counting minutes until my shift ended. That's when the order appeared on the screen. Order number 3,471, large pepperoni extra cheese. No onions, paid in cash. Normal. Then I looked at the address, and something inside me tightened. I read it again, then again. The street name didn't sound familiar, not even slightly. I leaned toward the screen and asked my manager, "Hey, have we ever delivered to this address before?" He stared at it for a few seconds. His smile faded. "No, but GPS says it exists." That answer didn't comfort me. The address was on the very edge of town, past the last gas station, past the last street light. I hesitated. Something about it felt off, but I needed the money. And honestly, I didn't want to look scared in front of everyone. So I grabbed the pizza. That was my second mistake. I got into my car and started driving. At first, everything was normal. Traffic, billboards, neon lights. But after 10 minutes, the world began to change. Houses became older, roads narrower, street lights farther apart. The radio suddenly crackled, then went silent. No static, just silence. I checked my phone. 11:47 p.m. Google Maps showed the destination was only 2 minutes away. But there were no houses around, just trees. Tall, dark trees that leaned toward the road like they were listening. That's when the fog rolled in. Thick, heavy, fast. It swallowed the road behind me. My phone buzzed. An incoming call. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Almost. "Hello?" I said. For a moment there was only breathing. Slow, deep. Then a man's voice spoke. "You're late." My stomach dropped. I'm at the location, but I don't see a house," I replied. There was a pause. And then he said something I will never forget. "That's because you're standing in front of it." The call ended. I stared at my phone. My hands were sweating. I stepped out of the car. The fog was thicker now, curling around my legs. That's when I saw it. The house didn't appear suddenly. It revealed itself, as if the fog was pulling away a curtain. Tall, black, windowless, no porch light, no mailbox, no sound. Just a massive structure standing where seconds ago there was nothing. My heart was pounding. I checked the address again. Same number, same street. I walked closer. Each step felt heavier than the last. The air around the house felt colder, dead, like sound itself couldn't survive there. Then I noticed something terrifying. There were no footprints in the dirt, none, not even mine. Before I could react, the front door creaked open by itself. Slowly, painfully slowly. The darkness inside the house was absolute, not black, something deeper. Then a whisper floated out, soft, close, calling my name. I froze. I never told anyone my name. Not the store, not the customer. And yet, they knew. My instincts screamed at me to run, to get back in my car, to leave the pizza on the ground and disappear. But my body didn't listen. It felt like the house was pulling me forward. I stepped onto the porch. The wood didn't creak. It felt solid. Too solid, like stone pretending to be wood. I cleared my throat. "Pizza delivery," I said, my voice shaking. No answer. Then the door opened wider, and I saw him. A man stood inside, tall, thin, wearing clothes that looked decades old. His face was pale, too pale. His eyes were wide open, unblinking, not even human blinking. He stared at me like I was an object, not a person. "You took long," he said calmly. "I'm sorry," I replied. "That'll be—" He interrupted me. "Cash, exact amount." He handed me the money. His fingers were ice cold. I counted quickly. It was exact, down to the cent. As I handed him the pizza, I noticed something behind him. A hallway, long, dark, and lined with doors. So many doors, all slightly open, and from behind them, I heard breathing. My heart started racing. I stepped back. I need to go," I said. The man smiled, but his eyes didn't. "Of course," he replied. "We'll see you again." That sentence hit me like a punch. I turned and walked away. Fast. I didn't run. I don't know why, but every instinct told me not to run. I reached my car and got inside. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely start the engine. I looked in the rearview mirror. The house was gone. No porch, no door, no man. Just fog and trees and silence. My phone buzzed again. A message from the same unknown number. It read, "Next time, don't be late." I thought it was over until the next night when the same address ordered again. And this time, the order was for 2 pizzas. Story 2, the order that came back. I knew I should quit that job the moment the same address appeared again. Because some places don't want pizza, they want permission. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that house, the fog, the silent porch, that man's unblinking eyes. I kept telling myself it was exhaustion, stress, my imagination running wild. But there was one detail my brain couldn't explain. The address didn't exist on any map anymore. The next morning I checked. Google Maps, nothing. Apple Maps, no results. Even Old Town records online showed no such a street. It was like the place had been erased. And yet, at 11:42 p.m. the next night, the order returned. The screen beeped. Everyone else groaned. Busy night again. I froze because I already knew the number. Order number 3,489, 2 large pepperoni, extra cheese, no onions, paid in cash. Same handwriting style, same format, same address. My manager noticed my face. "You okay?" he asked. I shook my head slowly. "That address, I delivered there last night." He laughed. "Yeah, and?" "There was no house," I said. Then suddenly, there was. His smile faded. "You serious?" I nodded. He stared at the screen longer this time. Then he said something that made my stomach drop. "System says this is the first order ever from that location." I told him I couldn't take it. I begged him to send someone else. But drivers were short that night. He sighed. "If you don't want it, you can clock out," he said. I needed the money. That was my third mistake. I took the pizzas. My hands were shaking as I placed them in the warmer bag. I told myself one thing over and over. I will drop it and leave. I will not go inside. The drive felt longer this time. The city disappeared faster. Even the radio refused to turn on. The fog was already waiting, like it knew I was coming. My phone buzzed halfway there. Unknown number. I didn't answer. It rang again. And again. Finally, I picked up. "You're early," the voice said. My heart skipped. "You ordered again," I replied, trying to sound calm. Yes, he said. We were hungry. I pulled over. I'm leaving the pizzas at the end of the road, I said. You can come get them. There was silence, then soft laughter. You won't do that, he said. How do you know? I snapped. Because you're already here. My headlights flickered. The fog thickened instantly. Google Maps spun, then froze. You have arrived. I stepped out of the car. The house was already there, waiting. This time the front door was open, wide open, darkness pouring out like smoke, and I could hear a movement inside. Footsteps, many footsteps. My instincts screamed, leave, run, now. I placed the pizzas on the ground. I'm leaving them here, I shouted. The footsteps stopped. The silence that followed was worse. Then a voice spoke. Not the man, a woman. She doesn't like when you break the rules. She, I whispered. The lights inside the house flickered on. For the first time I saw the interior, and I wish I hadn't. The walls were lined with photographs, hundreds of them. Every photo showed the same thing. A delivery driver, different faces, different uniforms, different decades, all standing on the same porch, all holding pizza. My blood turned cold. I stepped back. That's when I noticed something worse. Some photos were scratched out, faces torn, eyes burned black, and beneath them, dates. None of those drivers were recent. The man stepped into the doorway. Same pale face, same unblinking stare. You're inside the delivery window, he said calmly. I don't want the money, I said. Just take the food. He tilted his head. That's not how it works. A door behind him creaked open, then another, then another. Figures began stepping out. Men, women, all dressed like delivery drivers. Their faces empty, their eyes hollow. They stared at me like I was next. That's impossible, I whispered. The man smiled. We were like you once. My chest tightened. What did you do to them? He stepped closer. We didn't do anything, he said softly. They accepted the order. Something grabbed my ankle. I screamed. A hand, pale and cold, reached from the ground itself. I kicked free and stumbled backward. The porch boards cracked beneath me. The house groaned, like it was angry. Go! A voice whispered suddenly. I looked around. One of the drivers, a young guy, and stared at me. His lips barely moved. Don't look back, he said. They hate that. I ran. I didn't think. I didn't breathe. I jumped into my car and slammed the door. The engine struggled, then started. I sped away as fast as I could. The fog chased me. Just before the house disappeared from view, I saw the man raise his hand and wave. I drove straight to the police station, hands shaking, voice cracking. I told them everything. They checked the location. There was nothing. No house, no road, no record. They asked me one question before letting me go. Have you been feeling watched lately? I didn't answer because my phone buzzed in my pocket. A message from the same number. You ran. That makes her curious. I quit the job the next morning. I changed my number. I moved apartments. I tried to forget. But 3 weeks later, a pizza box appeared outside my door, still warm. Inside was a note, written in familiar handwriting. Delivery is a two-way street. That's when I realized the house didn't need an address anymore, because now it knew where I lived. Story 3, She Who Places the Orders. The house didn't follow me physically, it followed me mentally. And once you realize someone is watching you sleep, fear becomes permanent. I didn't open the pizza box. I couldn't. It sat outside my apartment door for hours, steaming slightly, like it had just been delivered. No knock, no footsteps, No sound of someone leaving. Just food that shouldn't exist. When I finally worked up the courage to look inside, my hands were shaking so badly I nearly dropped it. The pizza looked normal, too normal, but the smell made my stomach turn. Not spoiled, not burnt. It smelled old, like something reheated after years. Under the pizza was the note, 3 words written in dark ink. She is awake. I slammed the box shut and shoved it into the trash chute. Then I locked my door. Then I checked it again. Then I sat on my couch with the lights on until morning. I told myself it was over. No more deliveries. No more calls. No more fog. I even convinced myself that I had imagined the whole thing. Until the dream started. Every night, the same dream. I was standing in front of the house, but this time, I was inside. The hallway stretched endlessly, doors lining both sides. Behind each door, something breathing, waiting. And at the very end of the hallway, a woman stood facing the wall, tall, still, her hair dragged across the floor like wet rope. I tried to speak. I couldn't. She slowly turned her head, and before I could see her face, I woke up screaming. By the 5th night, I stopped sleeping. That's when the messages started again. Not calls, texts, always at 11:47 p.m. Unknown. Do you hear her yet? I blocked the number. Another one texted. Different number. Same words. I blocked that too. Then another and another. It felt like the house had infinite phones. I finally broke. I called a friend, Mark, and told him everything. He laughed at first, until I showed him the messages, until I described the photos in the house, until he saw my hands shaking. You need to confront this, he said. Go back. Prove it's not real. I stared at him. You didn't see her, I whispered. Who? He asked. I swallowed. The woman. That night we drove together. I didn't want to be alone anymore. The road was familiar now, too familiar, like muscle memory. As we crossed the edge of town, Mark frowned. This road doesn't show on my GPS, he said. Neither did mine. The fog arrived early, thick and heavy. Mark slowed the car. Man, this is messed up, he muttered. Then we saw it, the house, standing where nothing should be. Mark's laughter died instantly. That wasn't there before, he said. I didn't respond. My throat was tight. We stepped out together. The air felt wrong, dense, pressurized, like the world was holding its breath. The front door was closed, but the porch light flicked on by itself. Then the door opened, and she stepped out. She was tall, too tall, her body unnaturally thin, her skin pale, almost translucent. Her face blurred, like my eyes refused to focus on it. She spoke without moving her mouth. You accepted, she said. Her voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. It echoed inside my skull. I delivered a pizza, I said. That's all. She tilted her head. There are many kinds of delivery, she replied. Mark grabbed my arm. We're leaving, he said. She turned toward him, slowly, and smiled. Mark screamed, not a normal scream, a primal one, like something inside him recognized her. He fell to his knees, clutching his head. I can hear her, he sobbed. She's inside my head. That's when I understood. She wasn't the house. The house was hers, a mouth, a trap. She stepped closer. Each order feeds the door, she said. Each driver brings us closer. To what? I shouted. She looked past me, into the fog. Home. The doors behind her opened, every single one. The driver stepped out again, silent, watching, waiting. Why me? I demanded. She looked at me. This time I saw her eyes. They were empty, not dark, empty. You answered, she said simply. Mark collapsed, unconscious, or worse. I dragged him toward the car. My body moved on instinct. Fear turned into pure survival. As I shoved him into the passenger seat, she spoke again. "You cannot leave empty-handed," she said. I turned. The pizza box sat on the porch. Fresh, steaming, waiting. I understood then. The delivery was never complete, not until someone else took my place. I drove, faster than I ever had before. Mark didn't wake up until morning. He doesn't remember anything. Not the house, not her, not the screams. But I do, and so does she. That night my phone buzzed again. A final message. One last delivery. The next order wasn't sent to a house. It was sent to a hospital with my name on it. Story 4. The delivery that wasn't meant to be refused. The order didn't want a location anymore. It wanted a body. The hospital smelled like disinfectant and fear. That sharp, sterile scent clung to my clothes as I stood in the hallway, staring at my phone. The message was still there. One last delivery. Below it was an address. Not a street, not a house. A room number. Room 417, Intensive Care Unit. My name was written beneath it. Correct spelling, correct middle initial. I hadn't told anyone my middle initial. Mark was lying in that room, unconscious, connected to machines that beeped softly like mechanical heartbeats. The doctors said he collapsed from stress. They said there was no physical cause. I knew better. I tried deleting the message. It came back. I powered off my phone. It turned itself back on. The screen flickered and another message appeared. Delivery window closing. I hadn't slept in days. Reality felt thin, like it could tear if I pressed too hard. As I stood outside Mark's room, I noticed something that made my blood freeze. A pizza box sat on a chair near the wall. Plain cardboard. No logo. No receipt. Still warm. A nurse walked past me. "Who brought that?" I asked. She frowned. "What box?" I turned back. It was gone. The chair was empty. Inside Mark's room, the lights flickered. The heart monitor spiked suddenly. The machines began beeping faster. Then Mark screamed. His eyes snapped open, wide, terrified. He grabbed my wrist with shocking strength. "She's here," he whispered. I shook my head. "No, you're safe," I lied. "She followed you," he said. "She follows the one who accepts." The lights went out, not just in the room, in the entire hallway. Emergency lights glowed red, bathing everything in blood-colored shadows. And then I heard footsteps, bare feet, slow, dragging. The temperature dropped instantly. My breath fogged the air. The machines went silent, flatline. "She doesn't like hospitals," a voice said softly. Not Mark's, not human. I turned. She stood at the foot of the bed. The woman from the house, her form sharper now, more real. Her hair hung like wet black threads. Her face still refused to settle into focus. "You brought the order too far," she said. "I didn't bring anything," I shouted. She tilted her head. "You brought yourself." Mark screamed again. His body arched violently. I backed away, panic choking me. "What do you want?" I yelled. She raised one long finger and pointed at Mark. "A replacement," she said. "No," I whispered. She smiled. "The first delivery is always free." The door slammed shut. The red lights flickered wildly. I heard whispers all around me, voices overlapping, hungry, impatient. "Choose," she said calmly. "You or him." I dropped to my knees. "This isn't fair," I sobbed. She crouched in front of me, her face inches from mine. "Neither was the invitation," she replied. The room began to change. The walls stretched. The ceiling lifted unnaturally high. Doors appeared where there were none. Hospital beds lined the walls, each occupied, each patient staring directly at me. They were all delivery drivers. Some wore old uniforms, some modern, some barely recognizable as human. Their mouths opened in unison, and they spoke one word. "Deliver!" I screamed. I covered my ears. "Stop!" I shouted. She stood. "This is what happens when you refuse," she said. "The order finds balance." Mark's grip tightened. His eyes rolled back. Blood trickled from his nose. I felt something inside me crack. "Take me," I said. The room went silent. She smiled wider than she ever had. "You already belong," she said, "but I admire your willingness." She turned toward Mark. "He stays," she said. Relief hit me like a wave until she finished speaking. "But you deliver for us now." The walls snapped back to normal. The lights flickered on. The machines resumed their beeping. Mark collapsed onto the bed, unconscious but alive. She was gone. The nurses rushed in. Chaos. Shouting. Questions. I stood there shaking, knowing something inside me had just signed a contract. That night I dreamed of doors. Hundreds of them. Each with an address written on it. None of them familiar. All of them waiting. When I woke up, my phone buzzed. A new app had installed itself. No icon, just text. "Order ready delivery in 24 hours. Below it was a name, not mine, a stranger, and a feeling settled in my chest. A terrible understanding. I wasn't being hunted anymore. I was being trained. I survived the house by becoming something worse because the next delivery was my first. Story 5, my first delivery. The worst part wasn't being forced to deliver. It was how quickly it started to feel normal. The app didn't have a logo, no icon, just words burned into my screen like scars. "Order ready delivery in 24 hours. I tried deleting it. My phone vibrated violently and shut itself off. When it restarted, the app was still there, waiting. I didn't tell anyone. How could I? "Hey, by the way, an impossible house owned by something not human has turned me into a delivery driver for lost souls." I stayed quiet. That silence cost me more than screaming ever could. At exactly 11:47 p.m., my phone buzzed. The app opened by itself. A new order appeared. Not pizza, not food. Delivery item. Unspecified pickup. You drop location. "See you soon." My chest tightened. I felt something shift inside me, like a lock clicking open. The world outside my apartment changed. The air thickened. Lights dimmed. The familiar streets twisted subtly, like a reflection in warped glass. And then I noticed something terrifying. I knew exactly where to go. I didn't check maps. I didn't need directions. My body remembered the road. The fog welcomed me like an old friend. The house was already there, but it looked different now. Cleaner, more solid, as if it had grown stronger, fed. The door opened before I reached the porch. She stood there, waiting. "You're on time," she said. I hated how relieved that made me feel. "You'll deliver this," she continued. Something appeared in my hands. A box, not cardboard, not wood. It pulsed slightly like it was alive. "What's inside?" I asked. She smiled. Someone who thought they were done. The box was heavier than it looked. I could feel movement inside. Scratching, soft, desperate sounds. My stomach churned. "You don't have to like it," she said. "You just have to finish it." The address appeared in my mind, not on the phone. Inside my head, an apartment building downtown, occupied, normal. "That's a real place," I whispered. She nodded. "They always are." I drove, my hands steady, my heart numb. The city felt asleep, too asleep, like it had been muted. I reached the building, lights on, cars parked, life happening. This wasn't some forgotten road. This was someone's home. I stood outside the door for a long time. The box grew warmer, the scratching louder. "Please!" A muffled voice whimpered from inside. I dropped it, staggered back. my breathing ragged. My phone buzzed. Delivery window closing. I knocked. The door opened. A man stood there, mid-30s, tired eyes, normal, too normal. Delivery, he asked. I nodded. I couldn't speak. He took the box. The moment his hands touched it, the scratching stopped. The box went still. He frowned. "What is this?" he asked. The door slammed shut on its own, locks clicking, chains rattling. His expression shifted from confusion to terror. I heard screaming, not loud, muffled, contained, like the sound was being swallowed. The building lights flickered. Then everything went silent. The door reopened. The man was gone. The box was gone. In its place was a receipt. Delivered. Thank you for your service. My hands shook. My knees gave out. I vomited on the hallway floor. The world snapped back. Cars passed. A dog barked. Someone laughed in the distance. Life continued, like nothing had happened. I stumbled back to my car. My phone buzzed again. Order complete, reputation increased. Below it was a message. See? You did well. I didn't go home. I sat in my car until sunrise, watching my reflection change, just slightly. That morning I noticed something new. When I closed my eyes, I could see doors. Not all at once, but when I focused, addresses floated on them, some glowing faintly, some dark, hungry. I understood then. This wasn't punishment, it was inheritance. The next night, another order arrived, then another, each one different, each one heavier. Some begged, some screamed, some were silent. Those were the worst. With every delivery, the house felt closer, not physically, internally, like it was building a room inside me. I stopped dreaming, because dreams require escape. One night, I saw my own apartment door among the addresses. It glowed faintly, pending. I confronted her. "What happens when there's no one left?" I asked. She looked almost amused. "There will always be someone," she said. "What about me?" I asked. She stepped closer, close enough that the air hurt. "You are no longer the destination," she whispered. "You are the route." That was the night I realized the truth. I wasn't delivering people to her. I was delivering hope, and she was eating it alive. The next order wasn't a stranger. It was someone I loved. Story 6. The name on the order. I had delivered strangers without mercy, but the moment I saw that name, I understood what hell really costs. The app opened by itself. I didn't touch my phone. I didn't need to. I felt it before I saw it. That familiar pressure in my chest, that internal pull, like something tightening a leash around my spine. New order received. I stared at the screen, praying, begging that it would be another unknown address, another faceless victim. It wasn't. The name was written clearly, perfect spelling. No mistakes. My mother. I dropped the phone. It hit the floor face down. For a second, I considered leaving it there, pretending I hadn't seen it, but I already knew. Once you see the order, it sees you back. I picked the phone up slowly. The screen confirmed it. Delivery item, unspecified drop location, care facility, room 12, B, delivery window. Tonight my hands were numb. My thoughts fragmented. She wasn't supposed to be part of this. She was sick, yes, but alive, human, unaware. "No," I whispered. The room felt smaller. The walls leaned inward. The air thickened. My phone buzzed again. A message appeared beneath the order. "Personal deliveries strengthen the bond." I screamed. I hurled the phone across the room. It shattered against the wall. The screen cracked, but the app remained. Perfect. Unbroken. I drove without knowing how. Muscle memory. Automatic. Like I was already dead and something else was moving me. The care facility lights were on. Warm, safe, normal. That made it worse. I stood in the hallway outside her room. Room 12B. I could hear her coughing softly inside. Alive, breathing. I felt the box form in my hands, not appear. Form, growing heavier by the second. This one didn't scratch, didn't beg. It just waited. "You don't have to do this." Her voice came from behind me. I turned. She stood there, watching, calm, patient. "You said I had a choice." I snapped. She smiled faintly. "I said you could choose how much it hurts." "I won't," I said. "I won't deliver her." She stepped closer. The hallway lights dimmed. Time slowed. "Then someone else will," she said softly. The doors along the hallway began to open, one by one. Patients stepped out, elderly, weak, confused, each holding a box identical to mine. My blood ran cold. "You're using them," I whispered. She nodded. "Everyone delivers eventually." I looked at my mother's door, at the light under the frame, at the sound of her breathing, and something inside me broke. I ran, not away, toward her room. I kicked the door open. She looked up from her bed, surprised, then scared. "What's wrong?" she asked. I dropped the box. It shattered. Whatever was inside screamed, a sound that didn't belong to a throat. The walls shook. She stood abruptly, too abruptly, her eyes unfocused, her posture stiff. She looked past me, toward the hallway, toward her. "I remember now," my mother said quietly. My heart stopped. "She visited me weeks ago," she continued. "Promised I wouldn't be alone." "No," I whispered. Tears streamed down my face. "She's lying." My mother smiled gently, the way she used to when I was scared as a child. "She said you'd bring me home," she said. The woman stepped into the doorway. "This delivery completes the circle," she said. Something snapped inside me. Not fear, not panic. Rage. "You need consent," I said suddenly. She paused, interested. "The first rule," I continued, "you said it yourself. We accept the order." The hallway trembled. The doors shook. The drivers whispered. "My mother never accepted anything," I said. Her smile faltered, just slightly. "She didn't answer," I said louder. "She didn't agree." The woman stared at my mother, then back at me. For the first time, she looked uncertain. "Rules change," she said. "Only if both sides agree," I replied. Silence. Heavy, oppressive. My mother looked at me, truly looked. Her eyes cleared. "What is she?" she asked. I took my mother's hand. "She's the wrong address," I said. The woman screamed, not in anger, in pain. The house screamed with her. The walls cracked. The doors collapsed. The drivers fell to their knees. "You don't get to choose anymore," she hissed. "I already did," I said. I grabbed my mother. We ran. The building warped. Hallways stretched. Doors melted. But the exit remained. We burst outside. The night air burned my lungs. The fog recoiled. Behind us, the building folded inward, like a paper structure collapsing into itself. My phone buzzed one last time. The screen flickered violently. "Order failed, consequences," pending, the woman's voice echoed from everywhere. "You broke the cycle," she said, "but cycles don't die." My mother collapsed into my arms, crying, confused, alive. Sirens approached, real ones, human ones. The world stabilized. But I knew, deep down, this wasn't over, because as the sun rose, I felt it, that internal room, still there, one door left. I saved my mother, but I became the last address. Story 7, The Last Address. Every delivery ends somewhere, and this one ended with me. After that night, the world pretended nothing had happened. The care facility blamed a gas leak. The police wrote reports full of words like hallucination and trauma. Doctors called it stress-induced psychosis. My mother remembered none of it. She just knew I wouldn't let go of her hand. For weeks, things were quiet. No messages, no orders, no fog. I dared to believe it was over, that I had broken the cycle, that refusing the delivery had destroyed the system. But silence, I learned, is not peace. It's preparation. The dreams returned first, different now. No house, no woman, just doors, endless doors, floating in darkness. All of them were closed, except one. It had no number, no name, just a feeling, heavy, inevitable. When I reached for it, I woke up. My phone buzzed. Final order ready. I didn't scream. I didn't panic. I felt calm, like the last puzzle piece finally clicked into place. The app looked different, simpler, cleaner. No threats, no countdown. Just one line. Drop location. You. I sat on the edge of my bed for a long time, listening to my breathing, feeling that internal room stretch wider. She wasn't coming for me anymore. She didn't need to. I was already there. I left my apartment before sunrise. Didn't tell anyone. Didn't pack anything. Some journeys don't allow luggage. The fog met me halfway down the street. Not thick, not aggressive, almost respectful. The house didn't appear this time, because it didn't need to. I felt it inside me. Every step forward made it clearer. I wasn't walking toward a place. I was becoming one. I stopped at the edge of town, where the street lights end, where the world stops pretending. That's far enough, I said out loud. My voice echoed back wrong, like it didn't belong to me anymore. She appeared beside me, not from the fog, from my shadow. You always arrive eventually, she said. Her voice was tired now, weaker. It ends here, I said. She smiled sadly. It always does. What are you? I asked. For the first time, I wasn't afraid. She looked at me, truly looked, and the truth finally surfaced. We are mistakes, she said. Wrong addresses in explain worlds. When people disappear without reason, when places exist that shouldn't, someone has to hold them. You trap them, I said. She shook her head. We store them, she replied, so reality doesn't collapse under its own errors. I laughed bitterly. And the deliveries? She met my eyes. That's how the burden moves, she said, one willing carrier at a time. I understood then. The drivers, the house, the cycle. It wasn't evil, it was containment. And now, I asked. She gestured toward me. Now you are stable, she said. You resisted, you chose, you broke a rule. So I replace you, I asked. She nodded. My time is finished. The fog thinned. The night sky cleared. Stars visible again. You'll be alone, she added. No house, no orders, just holding. Who delivers to me? I asked quietly. She smiled. No one, she said. That's the point. Her form began to unravel, like smoke in reverse. You'll feel them, she whispered. The lost ones, the errors, the wrong turns. And if I refuse, I asked. She paused. Then the world cracks. She vanished. The fog rushed into me. Not cold, not painful, heavy, like responsibility settling into bones. I fell to my knees. The doors slammed shut inside me, one by one, locked. Morning came. Birds chirped. Cars passed. Life continued. Weeks passed, then months. I moved away, changed my name, stayed close to quiet places. Sometimes people pass me and feel uneasy. They don't know why. They just feel watched. Sometimes someone disappears nearby, a missing person, a wrong turn, a bad address. And sometimes, late at night, I feel a knock, not on a door, inside my chest. I don't answer. I just hold it. That's my job now. If you're listening to this story and you've ever felt like a place didn't want you there, if an address felt wrong, if you turned back at the last second, you're welcome, because someone stayed. The scariest delivery of my life never ended. It just learned how to stay quiet